Hello, hello, hello. Antphrodite here, your pop culture psychic, back to you again with another true crime reading. This time it's on Luigi Mangione, the alleged person. Just dropped my cards. It's a sign. Oh my God, the moon came out. You will recognize this card from the last reading that I did on this. So if you don't know, Luigi is the alleged CEO, United Healthcare CEO murderer. I'll put a link to it up here of my last reading I did on them. This card literally was everywhere, loud and clear. It's about lies, deceit, deception. So we're going to go into it. That's already an omen for what this reading is about to be. So basically I'm going to do a reading on, is he actually the person who did it? There are conspiracy theories that he didn't do it. What was his motivation? This, that, the other. If you watch my last reading, you'll know I was extremely accurate in my opinion. So if you could give me my flowers, I would appreciate it. And yeah, we'll kind of see. We'll look at the conspiracy theories. I know everyone is like, oh my God, he's so hot. He's so amazing. And there's all these people standing him, which is wild to me, but we'll get into that. And so I'll kind of see what's going to go on and what's going to happen in America moving forward. So remember, these readings all ledger for papers only, and let's get started. Also, if you like these, join YouTube members. There's a join button down below, $5, $10, or $15 tier. Get access to exclusive readings, celebrity readings. You can win a reading from me and pick a cards, tons of other options. Join the Discord too if you're in there. Thanks. I appreciate everyone who supports me. All right. Was he the man who did it? Did he act alone? And what else is going to happen? Okay, so the Knight of Pentacles is consistency. I know there's a giant conspiracy that he was the one that was like the fall guy. He's the one that like they felt like, you know, needed to represent the movement. The Knight of Pentacles just to me is about consistency, so it's about follow through. So it's pretty likely that he's the one that did this. And it's pretty likely that it was just carried out exactly how he desired. So do I think that it's like this big conspiracy that like he's the one that's going to take all the blame for everything? Not really. It's more like repercussions of your actions. Now, the Hermit is whether or not he worked alone. Now, we know Hermit is about isolation and being alone. So did he work alone? Yes. But, and we'll get to that. The yes, obviously, he's the one that allegedly shot him. We have the footage. It's one person doing it. I'd imagine Hermit would be up right here. But here's what we see next to it is the Knight of Wands reverse, which is the Knight of Wands is about inaction or misguided aggressions. He went rogue. So I do think there are other people. I do think that he was at least in communication with other people or trying to get in communication with other people, or other people were trying to get in communication with him. I told you, I'm seeing more than one. The problem is that it seems like he went rogue. The Knight of Wands is someone who goes dark and does what they want to do and does it when they want to do it. So he took matters into his own hands. So I think that's why earlier in my last reading, I saw multiple people, because it seems like there was a conversation or discussion. I told you there's some sort of group of people. There's some sort of connection that I'm seeing. And then I see him go dark and go rogue. The Page of Pentacles is upright, which is about his expectations. So his expectations were higher and different than everybody else's. The Knight of Wands walk on eggshells and Hierophant. He's like, I'm going to follow through with what I said, you know, and there's a feeling of like, you're not following through with what you said. So definitely think that there was a conversation with others at some point. There was some sort of group, or at least more than one person here. And then I see him going dark and going rogue. Almost like, I'm not sure if it's like they all had the same like bloodthirst, or if it was like they were just angry and then he was like, no, you know, he took matters in his own hands and thought like killing people was the answer, and they didn't. I'm not exactly sure what the disconnect is, but I am seeing multiple people. It's just, again, he cuts them off, goes rogue. Strength card is a vulnerability. The Six of Wands is ego and pride, and the Knight of Cups. Yes, so this would be about, this is what I saw earlier. This is about some sort of activist group or some sort of like statement. So there were other targets. There are other targets. I'm not sure if I necessarily feel like these targets were initially intended to be like murder targets. I think he was just one that was like, yes, it has to be murder. Where I think other people were like, protest type of things, but unique statements. We're not talking about like cringe things, like when people like throw the soup at a painting, whatever, and you're like, what are you doing? Or when people sit in the middle of the road and you're like, what are you doing? You're not making any progress. Not things like that. It was something unique, something where, like I said before, they show up, they do something, and they leave. So there seems to be some sort of group that actually wanted to make some sort of unique, interesting protest where they would show up, fuck shit up, and then leave, but in a way that was very much statement making. It just seems like he took matters into his own hands. I'm not sure if this is something that he was trying to establish, if he was a part of, or he just connected to one person in. I can't figure it out, but it is around him at some point. Perhaps he didn't even really realize what he was stepping into or who he was speaking to, because it does seem like when I'm in his state of mind, I'm telling you right now, I don't think he's of sound mind. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people here are probably like, well, duh, he killed someone. But a lot of people seem to think that he's like this, like, genius. And I'm not saying he's an idiot. He's obviously intelligent. But Devil card here is about negativity, and it's sometimes like mental illness. Yes, you can see that as possession. I don't know if I would necessarily say that. To me, it's speaking more of like someone who's struggling or battling with some sort of mental illness. And the Two of Cups and the Lover's card is upright, which to me is about to me, that's about like working hand in hand with someone and then again going rogue. So like I said before, it's like if you had a right hand man or, whatever, and then you went rogue. Very much I see him super close to someone and then being like, no. I also see a catalyst here with another individual. So some sort of breaking of a friend group or a relationship or something that caused him to kind of spiral out of control mentally as well. This seems to be older though. It seems to be something that's been festering for a while underneath the surface. So think of it like the very beginning of the villain origin story. And then that leads to obviously his issues with his physical health, and then that leads to the issues with the mental health, and then that leads to the healthcare system, things of that nature. I know a lot of people are confused because his parents are allegedly super rich. The Seven of Swords being upright, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Empress. I think there's definitely a feeling of like, I feel like I should be able to do more. I don't know if I would necessarily use the word guilty conscience, but something similar where he's like vigilante, Seven of Swords. He feels responsibility to be a vigilante. Like, how people feel like Elon Musk should be fighting people's battles? It's kind of like that. He's feeling like I should be able to do this and I'm limited and I can't. So feeling the weight of that responsibility. But I can't stress enough that this man is not in the right frame of mind. We do have a star card here, which is about wanting to garner attention. I get that. But the Queen of Cups is reversed and the Knight of Swords. You can do things for multiple reasons. And yes, I'm sure a part of this was like, fuck the system, right? Obvious. Like, he's tired. He wants American people to sort of fight back against the healthcare CEOs. He does think that this is, he's trying to inspire other CEOs to get targeted. He's trying to inspire the healthcare system to change. Like, he really feels like he is doing that. That is very narcissistic. I know that a lot of people stan him, and I'm not trying to be rude to you guys, but by definition, that's a narcissistic take, to think that you are meant to do something this big and you have this big of an ego and pride and you're going to change the world. That type of mentality, whether you use it for good or evil, is still a narcissistic tendency. So I'm not shocked to see the star. That is narcissistic tendencies, especially when the Knight of Swords reverse, which means his intentions are not purely pure. I also think that he wanted to be famous. A lot of people who make crimes or do things like this, that is a part of it as well. Maybe infamous, famous. I don't think it's like I want to be a celebrity as much as it was I'm going to be in the history books. Again, high levels of narcissistic tendencies. Again, not trying to be rude, but it is there. The Queen of Cups being reversed is also, again, these are cold energy, very, very much like I've gone dark. Like, his emotions are gone. Like, this is someone who doesn't have that empathy or that emotion anymore. So something changed in him. Like I said before, some sort of mental discrepancy. I'm going to be honest with you. His energy is very scary to me, very cold. When I'm in it, it's not exactly what I think you guys are projecting onto him. The Fool's reverse, which means that he is very serious and very strategic. We know that. But Wheel of Fortune and Seven of Pentacles is like, I saw the opportunity, I took the risk, and the rest is history. The Seven of Pentacles is like, well, it's now or never. Seven of Wands. He's not. While I think he had a calculated plan, I also think that he didn't think things through as much as we think. So let me explain. Yes, he had a plan. Yes, he wanted to make a statement. But I don't really think he thought about what happens next. I think he was hoping other people would figure that out. Because when we look at the Seven of Wands reverse, that's not an underdog, right? And that's like someone that's like doesn't have the rallying of support that they should, which doesn't make any sense, right? Because clearly there's support for him right now. King of Cups being reversed and Six of Cups is the past. So that's about not, again, that translates to not thinking it fully through. I know people are saying that he wanted to get caught. I think can I be honest? I don't think he thought he was ever going to be caught. That's number one. Number two, he doesn't really know what to do now that he's caught. I think he thought that there would be more things happening. More people would be doing things quicker. It would inspire people quicker. He's kind of a little shit out of luck here. But this goes back to what I said before, and especially about the moon card, which I saw it earlier. And in my last reading, he's going to lie and say whatever he thinks people want to hear. And he's going to become whatever people want him to become. It's much more interesting for him to enable the narrative that's being pushed about him than to tell the truth, which is that he was struggling mentally, wanted to make a statement, and didn't think things fully through to the very end. Like he thought things through until a certain point, and then he went, well, shit, what do I do now? I got this far, now what? So I'm sure he's going to make up stories, and I'm sure he's going, I'm sorry, that's what I see. I see him being like, well, I'm going to be what the people want me to be now. When I tell you, I'm convinced he's a narcissist, and I know you guys are going to get mad when I say that, but it's there. Like, that's very much textbook narcissist. That's someone who's like, or at least high levels of narcissistic tendencies, where they're like, I'm meant for this thing, I'm going to do it. They do it. They kind of have most of the stuff planned out, intelligent enough to figure it out. And then once they get there, they wait for the response. And then once they get the response, they're going to become what they need to become to be able to be loved and appreciated and adored. Their narcissistic supply. So I know there's a lot of people saying that he's such a nice guy and he's such a kind guy and he has like a great history with his friends and family. One thing I will say is, for starters, there are a lot of people who are one way in front of, you know, people and another way behind closed doors. And two, something switched in him. The devil card, there is some sort of chemical thing. I don't know if it was a pill he was taking. I'm not sure, but there was a switch in his mental health recently. I see it. It's there with that devil card. I'm in his energy. You are not the same person that you were before. Okay. And yes, I know some people are like, he was possessed. I don't know if I feel like it was a possession. To me, it feels like something imbalanced in him, something thrown off. Like if something was misfiring, something broke in his body, something changed, something snapped. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know. That's just what I see. I see a literal change. It's almost like a physical change in your body causes a mental change in your body, and I'm not exactly sure what that translates to, but that's what it is. And there is also one person here that did see his dark side right before he went dark, like, and didn't talk to anyone. It's a Queen of Swords. So there's someone here that saw his weird, creepy, kind of mean, awkward, like strange side right before things went dark. This person is not telling the truth or has not come forward yet. I think when they start to investigate, they might find out about this person. If you are this person and you're watching this, tell the truth. The truth will always set you free. But there is someone here that I do think saw something concerning and kind of disregarded it or whatever, and then he went dark. So there is someone here that can vouch for the fact that there was a switch in his mentality, and it was pretty dark pretty quick. And the Ace of Pentacles being reversed too is about him leaving something with them, something tangible, giving them something, buying them something, there's some sort of trading of either money or goods or an object or a gift or something like that. Yeah, it's like running away from something. Like when he was about to run away and was like, here, have this or do this or something like that. Anyways, Four of Cups and Two of Wands. Yeah. I mean, he loves the attention from the internet. Loves it. Loves it. I mean, granted, I understand the dichotomy here. I understand why a lot of people are very much like supporting him. I understand why somebody would like this kind of vigilante energy. I understand it, but I just want you to be careful about putting too much onto him, projecting too much onto him, because I think as humans, we have a tendency to immortalize people, or not, what's the word? I don't want to say saint people, but put things on a pedestal and make them better, bigger, smarter, whatever than they are, right? We love a hero and a villain. So he's the hero, they're the villains, right? When in reality, well, I guess maybe an anti-hero, but when in reality, I don't know if I would necessarily say that he's the hero of the story. I know a lot of people say, well, he's a victim turned anti-hero, which I get. I respect that perspective, but when I tell you, when you don't know anything about someone, you project things to fill in the blanks, and he's banking on that. You don't know the information. You don't know anything about him. And so you've projected this idea, and he's letting you fill in the blanks, and then he's going to lie. I told you, he's a pathological liar. That's there. I'm sorry. He's a liar. And I find it very, very hard to believe that he was an honest person before all this happened. I don't buy it. You're not going to sell me on that. And also, what I will also say is Four of Swords, Three of Pentacles, and Three of Swords. Now, he's claiming like they planted stuff on him. Four of Swords is like a rejection or a healing of wounds. The Three of Pentacles is like job reverse. And Three of Swords is heartbreak. Is it possible they planted things on him? Yes. Do I believe him? No. The reason why I don't believe him is I see him as a liar. I told you guys this. And also, he wants the cops to look bad. He wants the government to look bad. He wants the justice system to look bad. He wants them all to look bad. He is at least savvy enough and strategic just enough to make things look like if you told me that he made it look like things were planted on him, I would believe that. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's very hard for me to take what he's saying seriously because I see his Joker smile, which I was right about. His smile is just like the Joker's and it's huge. Anyways, it's very hard for me to see him because he grins at me, laughs, smirks. I see him grinning, laughing, smirking, and then just winking because he's lying through his teeth. And so when I see that, I see the energy of someone being like, you know how everyone's like, how the hell did he have the exact amount of money that he needed? Like, how do you have the exact amount of money that he needed for whatever certain charge? Like, it was planted. He's the type of person that would know that that's the amount of money that you would need to have to get whatever and make himself look that way because he knew he was fucked anyways. That's what I mean. Like, it's very hard for me to figure out if they planted that or not because he's the type to plan it on himself to make it look like they planted it on him. Like, that's what I mean. Like, he wants to embarrass the police system. He wants to embarrass the justice system. And again, I understand why people support that. But when I look at him as a person, you're asking me, my intuition, when I'm seeing the cards, what they're saying, how can I trust a liar? He's going to give you a whole made-up backstory. I'm telling you right now. He's going to give you a bunch of bullshit. He's going to feed the biggest narrative. I'm telling you right now, when that documentary that I know will eventually comes out, it's going to be full of bullshit. When he's on the stand, if he ever is on the stand, we get to hear him talk, it's going to be full of bullshit. I'm sorry. He is a very skilled and very talented liar and very charming and charismatic and high levels of narcissistic tendencies. That's what I see. So whether or not you support him, I don't know. It's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But you ask me what type of person he is, that's what I see. I'm going to leave it there. Please don't come for me. Don't come for the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. I have to tell you what I see and the truth. And that's what I see. Remember, these readings are all different tippers only. Please join the YouTube members. It's literally a join button down below. You are missing out on so much additional content and is the best way to financially support me. It's only $5 a month if you don't want to go higher in tier. And it's a lot of content for $5. So I love you guys. Be kind to one another, please. I know this is going to be controversial, but please, y'all don't come for me. I'm just being honest. I'm not about to lie to y'all.